Testing audio. Actually, let's not test that because it hasn't shown up yet. Come on. Still says waiting. There we go. Do we have audio? There we go. Do we have audio? And we do. All right. Get situated here. All right. Live from Cabot, Arkansas. It's Saturday afternoon. All right. My channel, Coach Steve Money channel. Let's check it out. Bunch of fun stuff on there, including the music playlist. Where is it? Oh, you got to go to home. That's the home look. That was the live look there. And right below the playlist for this stream is the music playlist. 8 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Check them out if you're so inclined. All right, let's get to the questions. Okay, this from 8 days ago. We go backwards so we don't miss any questions because they only have 1,000 at a time. So, and I need more questions than that. Sometimes. I have run out before. This is from Even Cat 4045. The price we pay for the status. Made a poor decision 2 years ago and financed a Mercedes because at the time I thought it was so cool because of my car, but after the payments kicked in, I knew it was a terrible decision at the time. It's a terrible decision anytime to do a car loan. And I come across so many people every day that think I'm some spoiled brat that got a Mercedes from their parents, or people think I'm rich when honestly, to be honest, I'm just getting by because of this decision. Yeah, I wish people would just leave me alone about the car. I'm literally done with stereotypes and baggage that comes with it. Yeah, you know what you can do? So what you can do, you can sell the car if it's bothering you, but I wish people would just leave me alone about the car. Why do you care what they think about it? Now, granted, if you're making payments on it and it's only 2 years old and you're trying to make progress on the baby steps, you're trying to get rid of your debt, one way to do that is to sell that car. And then you don't have that loan anymore. So you sell that car, you buy a beater car, and then there you go. You're off on the baby steps. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about that. Because they can't help. So, even if they do, even if it actually works and people are like, oh, that guy's cool, what good does that do you? In real life, what good does that do you? Not much. Maybe they want to hang out with you. That's about it. All right, let's see. TMPS 1993 just finished Borrow Future. That is their documentary, Ramsey Solutions documentary on the student loan crisis, as it were, as it's called. I think I'm going to force my teenage sister to watch it, okay? Fortunately, I inherited really good financial sense and was able to pay off my student loans ASAP, but not good enough financial sense to not get them at all. But it can't be denied that boomers and Gen X failed when it came to student loan education. I don't know that you can blame. Again, people try to do generation versus generation all the time. I don't think that's necessary or even accurate in a lot of cases. I mean, increasingly, the generations are getting more and more spoiled and coddled, it seems like, though. So overall, but not like specifically with the student loan education. But yeah, they're not They're not told by that. And that's not necessarily on parents. That's the school system trying to get them into loans and stuff like that. So rather than just paying cash for college. Let's see, forcing kids to go to college with the false promise that it would guarantee high-paying jobs, etc. Right. And everybody thinks when they sign on the dotted line for the student loan, they think there is no way I will not graduate. And that happens, unfortunately. And so if you don't graduate, then you don't have the higher paying job to pay off the student loans then. And so that doesn't work. So that is not justification for taking out the student loan, because you don't know in advance that you're going to graduate. Between forcing kids to go to college with no financial education, I don't know that they're forced, maybe some of them, and the predatory lending that is Sally Mae, millennials were set up for failure. Hopefully Gen Z will have a better shot at after hearing these firsthand accounts. Well, I mean, there's been, as long as Dave has had a show, there's been stories about student loans. So again, I don't think it's generation versus generation, again, like a lot of news outlets like to try to make it, just to try to get those clicks. I don't think there's as much of that as it is just people doing dumb stuff with money like they always do. Anonymous Thoughts 29. Small victories can mean a lot. So we started Dave Ramsey a month ago and just finished baby step 1. Excellent. We've never had $1,000 in a savings account that wasn't earmarked for something else. Right. And a lot of people complain about the $1,000 not being enough. You can't complain about that if you've never had $1,000 in savings before. You can't say it's not enough, because obviously you were fine without having at least $1,000. You haven't even had that before, and so how can you say, well, that's not enough to do? Yeah. So we have never even had emergency fund, right? This small victory proving that our mindset and methods are changing is huge for us. Huge. We're hoping to have baby step 2 done by the end of the year. Excellent. Make it happen. But it may actually be next year. Depending on how some bonuses go, I said make it happen. Either way, we are feeling confident we are going to get there for the first time in our lives. Excellent. Absolutely. And that is why the small victories are there. They're set up in the program. So it's not a big, huge amount of emergency fund at the beginning. It's just $1,000. And you don't have to start with the highest. You actually are supposed to start with the lowest amount of debt. Your debt that is the lowest total. You pay that off first, and that can happen quicker, and that does motivate the average human being more so than any other method. Goiza Gangsta says, baby step 2.1, I've almost paid off my first credit card. I've been starting and stopping the baby step for like the last 2 years. And at the end of the last year, I decided to really buckle down and do it. October, I had $13K on this CZ, and this month I'll have it paid off to Donut. Excellent. I've been trying to put an extra 1 to 2K a month on the credit card, and this month we got a bonus, and I put it all on the credit card. Whereas before, I would have been buying the stupidest stuff with this money. I still have much more consumer debt to tackle, another student loans card, but it feels so good. Absolutely. Congratulations. That's from popular underscore score 47404. Most investors don't understand Dave Ramsey. I think they understand. It's not that hard to understand that he believes in minimized risk. And so that's not that hard to understand. So I don't think I don't know this necessarily that they have a problem understanding him as much as they disagree with them, because they're on their calculators, there's no risk button on there. And so they just go by what the calculator says. Dave Ramsey teaches financial peace. That's right. This is the part about Dave Ramsey and debt that most investors don't understand. Again, I think they get it, but that's not priority to them. So that's why they don't care about it. Their priority is the highest number in the calculator. Most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, right, and are up to their eyeballs in debt, right? They're in no circumstance where they can do the things that the investors want them to do. They're not in the position to do that. The average American can't come up with $500 in an emergency without going into debt, right? What if they lose their job, become sick, injured, disabled, job gets outsourced, or anything? What happens when things go left? Exactly. That's why you have the emergency fund, and that's why the steps are the way they are, instead of how the math investor people would like it to go. Bed Virtual 2435 says 1 year ago we had $18,000 in car loan debt. This month we're paying the rest off. Excellent. Like the title states, last year my husband was getting really big into Dave Ramsey, and we agreed on a zero-based budget. That's part of baby step 1. Spouse agreeing. Spouse getting on the same page. Spouses, both of you getting on the same page is part of baby step 1. Again, forthcoming video, long promised forthcoming video on the missing baby steps 0 and 3B. His bonus money and tax return went straight to the loan, and every month any money left over has been meant for the loan. Today I finally wrote the check for the remainder balance, and we are officially about to be debt-free. Excellent. And this year the bonus and tax return can just be saved for our next goal. Now our next goal is home buying. Well, you got to pause in between the home buying, in between the baby step 2 and 3B, and do baby step 3, which is the full emergency fund. And then after that is done completely separately, then you save for the down payment for the house. Dead Violist. Question about 50-30-20 budget. Been following the 50-30 budget for a couple years now. Needs, wants, savings. 30 is high for wants. If you're like in baby step 1, 2, or 3, 30 is high for that. So that's a different thing. That's not the Ramsey plan. Let's see what we have with this question. One issue I run into time and again is what classifies a need as a want. Well, humans need water to live. Humans need it. Okay? They do not need Coke or any other kind of pop, as they say. What up, Ohio? In the Midwest. And they definitely don't need Starbucks. And to the people that are like, I'd rather be, what was it from that article? I'd rather be caffeinated than stressed and have $6. So you can be caffeinated without paying $6 for the caffeine. You can make tea or coffee at home for much, much cheaper. So they're just being not wanting to do Dave's plan, just wanting to get what they want when they want it, which is the average person. So that's to be expected. Let's see, there are some that are immediately obvious, such as rent, utilities, groceries, etc. being needs. Then there are some that kind of borderline. Madonna, shout out. Keep on pushing my love over the borderline. For example, what if I want, again you say want, right there, to go to the store to buy ingredients for French toast or cookies, for example. I wouldn't say I need cookies, right, but it's technically groceries and food going into my stomach. Yeah, that's still a want. That's still a want. To me, it's a bit more of a fun thing. Yeah, that is. So, again, 50-30-20 isn't Dave Ramsey's plan. Somebody else came up with that one. But yeah, it's the wants. 30 is way too high for that. And of course, you wouldn't do any savings if you had debt. You would not do any extra savings other than your $1,000 emergency fund. Loud_area. Question about the 15% retirement goal. Hello. Currently on baby step 2, and I'm currently doing 6% for the match on employer 401k. Thought about doing a freeze, but decided to get the match for now. That is not the advice. The advice is to do the freeze and not contribute while you are paying off debt and getting your full emergency fund. Then when you are back on baby step 4, or when you are to baby step 4 rather, then that is investing, and so you don't do that, so you're doing it wrong. Anyways, when they recommended going for 15% of income for retirement once debt is paid off, false. They recommend going for 15% of income for retirement once debt is paid off and you have your full emergency fund. After that, then that's step 3, and then investing is step 4 again. Does that include a Roth IRA as well? So total 401k and Roth IRA contributions will equal 15% of income. Thanks in advance. Yes, you can divide them if you need to. Now, if your employer offers the Roth 401k, then you could just do that and do all the 15% into it. It just depends on whether you have maxed that out. If you max out your work one, which is I think $23,000 since January 1st, I think that's up to $23,000 in a year in your 401k, whether it be Roth or traditional. And so if your 15% does not exceed that, then you're fine just in the Roth 401k, excuse me. The only time that you would prioritize Roth IRA over a Roth 401k is if you have limited fund selections in your Roth 401k, which does sometimes happen on work plans. And then you would open your own Roth IRA, because then you can choose whatever. If you open it at just any brokerage, you can just about buy any mutual fund you want to from anywhere, even ones that are run by other brokerages. So yeah, so it's the Roth is, and again, what the breakdown in order that you should be doing it in would be match first. And this is not while you're paying off debt or don't have an emergency fund. This is once you are on step 4. It's match 1, and then 2 would be Roth, and that could be Roth 401k or the Roth IRA, depending on if you need to do a Roth IRA or if you want to, because of the limited fund selections in your work Roth 401k plan. But you would do, say your employer does not, because all employers do not offer the Roth 401k in addition to the traditional. So say you only have a traditional one at work, then you would do the match into the 401k, and that would be because you do that because that's 100% return on investment. And so why would you not do that first? So that's first. And then second would be your Roth IRA. And then once Roth IRA is maxed, then you would go back into the 401k at work to finish up your investing, because Roth IRA is $6,500 for people under 50. And congratulations to everybody that is under 50 years old. Some of us, not so much. Glass Tomatillo 9707. Need advice on baby step 6. Okay, baby step 6, pay out the home early, and it's basically do baby step 6, pay out the home early. Let's see, we're dealing with baby step 6, pay out the home early. Have completed the previous 5. Excellent. If I pay 15% of my income, mortgage will be paid off fully in 5 years. And with the current way of payment, it will take 11 years. Would Dave approve if I did that? What do you guys think? Thanks in advance. No, well, you would still have to, it can be 15%, but only if that's left over after you're investing. for you to stop investing to fully pay off the house, it would have to be like 2 years that you could get that done in. But over 5 years, that's too long. You need to be investing. So you wouldn't stop investing and put that money into the house. So you would keep investing. So, but if you have, I mean, it's whatever's left over goes to the mortgage. Let's bring it up here. Let me scrolling. There we go. So step 4, invest 15% of gross income into retirement. So you would do that. You got your budget, you got your living expenses that you have to pay, bills, etc., etc. So you have that to pay, and then so that comes first out of your income. Then next is the 15% of gross income into retirement. So that comes, so you're addressing kid college if that applies, and if you decide to help them, you would be addressing that. It just has to be, it just has to be a couple bucks if they're young. Still, because you got plenty of time, because you can pay that house off by the time, way before they are due to go to college, and then you could use that mortgage money to help cash flow that for them, or even invest it in the ESA or 529 plan. But then after step 5 is addressed, step 4 and 5 are addressed. Doing the 15, you're doing some for kid college if that applies, and then anything extra you would have would go to paying off the mortgage early. And so if you have 15% available at that point after you've addressed steps 4 and 5, then you would apply it to 6, but not pay off house before you start investing, or stop investing to pay off the house, because 5 years is too long to not be investing. Accelerate your day. Okay, I get it. Figured it out. I'm old, but I'm pretty quick. If I'm collecting Social Security and take another job, do they still deduct FICA from my paycheck? That's a good question. I do not know that. Just curious, as they would deduct salary against my SSI payment. That's a good, I do not know that. So you're talking about the where you pay, I don't think you pay into Social Security anymore at that point. Is that what you're asking? Or if they take no, I think he's asking if they still so that would be what, after come on, 67, does your pay check still have FICA taken out? You do pay FICA taxes on it. Finally, retirement does not change the taxable status of earned income. If you do work in retirement, for example, if you pick up a part-time job or continue to run a business, that income will be subject to FICA taxes as usual. Interesting. Well, I mean, they've had a shortfall for a long time. And they say eventually they're going to start doing 80%. And now the time to start doing that would be right now. That's what I think. But I'm not in charge over there in the government. So yeah, that's interesting. So you still have to pay Social Security even though you're collecting Social Security. Dumb. All right. Paying off your mortgage early guarantees being a millionaire. That is not true, because you can still be dumb with money after you do that. Let's see. So here's what I don't get. Many people in the finance industry, my cousin, see, you might be taking your cousin. Oh, a lot. Many people in the finance industry, which all of those guys you shouldn't listen to. Some of them are alright, but all of those guys you shouldn't listen to. If you're going to compare them to Ramsey, basically you pick. between you pick the normal finance guy's advice, the average finance guy's advice, or Ramsey, and you don't try to compare them and say and have them make sense against each other. You just pick the one that you want to do, because they're too opposite a lot of times as far as the paying off all debt thing, and not debt leveraging and so forth. They're too opposite for you to try to merge them together. You'll just get in trouble doing that. So pick one. So let's see. So many people in the this is just so funny. Many people in the finance industry, my cousin, and a lot of people on Reddit. A lot of people on Reddit say anything you can think about on any topic. So people on Reddit will take any side of the topic there and have any opinion that's available. So you can't, that phrasing is just weird. Okay, well, they say you should never pay a mortgage off early because money does better in the stock market, and that's your debt leverage. That makes 100% sense. But here's the kicker: 8% of Americans are millionaires, right? That's not even 1 in 10. That's correct. The average home in the U.S. is almost $500,000. The average income in the U.S. is $59,384. So while these people say paying off your mortgage, Dave Ramsey debt-free is a bad financial decision. Yeah, the house is usually, almost always, I would think, a big portion of their net worth being $1 million. Any of the millionaires, when they first become millionaires, the house is generally the biggest portion of that net worth million. Wooden_border 3990. Baby step 4. Hi, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Was wondering where I should invest my 15%. My company currently does not offer anything. I make $200K annually. New to investments. Thank you so much. I think you're just under. I think you can do a Roth. Whoops, come on, income for Roth IRA. Must be the adjusted. Okay, so if you can get that for $200, if you're paying at least $47,000 in taxes a year, then probably you can do for tax year 2023. So it depends on what the modified adjusted gross income is when you do your taxes, and then you can tell whether you can do a Roth IRA. If not, you can do a backdoor Roth. Again, that is only $6,500 though a year on that. So you could do the backdoor Roth. But otherwise, you are probably limited to if your employer doesn't have 401k, you probably will do. You would probably just do a brokerage account for that. I mean, you can look into like tax advantages stuff like a health savings account. You can use. Some people use those. Where you can invest in it, but you also can use it to pay for medical expenses as well. But generally, a brokerage account making $200,000 a year and the company not offering a retirement plan is interesting. I would think that like a company like that pays people to make that much money would offer retirement plans, but I guess it does happen where they don't. And so, unfortunately, the same advice is still there. 15% of your gross household income into retirement is the thing to do. If you can't do tax advantage plans, you just have to pay tax on the income when you make it, and also tax on the earnings when you take it out. Climbing the corporate ladder. Dave always says that income is your most powerful wealth building tool. That much is certain. How has your income grown throughout your career and what factors contributed to that growth? Example, job change, internal promotions, education, starting a business, etc. Probably all that stuff. What tips would you offer to someone early in their career or period of earning stagnation? Different job, perhaps. The person says is his progression there and how much he makes. Yeah, different job. If you're not going as fast in your current job, you could look for somewhere else. Granted, the grass isn't going to always be greener on the other side. This person apparently got too much heat from 2 comments and deleted their Reddit account. Interesting. But yeah, on that stuff, you could just that's not going to be the same for every person. There's not going to be any average. I don't think there would be any stats on that either as to the average. It might be the average American's pay per age, that kind of thing. But like what you're talking about specifically, I don't know that there would be any stats on that. You make the most money you can. And if that means a different job, do a different job. But be aware, again, the grass may not be greener on the other side of the fence. Made my first payment from front fishing 1930. Made my first payment today on a $180,000 student loan balance. Just sharing because of the sense of community here. All right. Today I started my debt-free journey by making my first student loan payment on $180K student loan balance doing that snowball method. Excellent. Okay. I hope you don't have any other loans then, any other non-mortgage debt, because 180K, if that's the lowest amount of debt that you have, is that. I hope that's it. I hope that's all you have. I was so hesitant, but I know it just made the future a little bit brighter. Excellent. Well, I guess the person is in deferred status or something like that, doesn't have to pay, but chooses to pay it early, which is excellent. You sign it, you need to pay it. Funky _ crisp. All right. When to buy a rental property? When you have the cash to do it. I think Dave typically says he doesn't recommend having rentals until your house is paid off. Right. Yeah, you wouldn't do that. And you can pay cash for a rental. Right. I'm sure there are still plenty of properties that are less than 200K that could be great investment properties. Probably. But is it absolutely necessary to wait for your home to be paid off? Yes. I am thinking of getting a small investment property after all debt, but my mortgage is paid off. What are your opinions on how to get an investment property? Well, if you want to follow Mr. Ramsey's advice, you would do what he says to do. If you want to do what you want to do, or want anybody else, do you want somebody to tell you on Reddit that it's a good idea? Now, somebody just saying, yeah, I think what you're doing is great on Reddit should not mean that much in your world. So if just getting people, a lot of people want justification or validation rather for things that they want to do. He knows that's not what Dave says to do, but he wants to do it anyway. If so, you're doing it wrong. Shappy _4, starting college. Congratulations. I'll be starting college this fall, and the school I'm going to on average costs $19 to $21K a year after financial aid and scholarships. How would you recommend paying the rest without taking out student loans? That would be a little thing called working and getting more scholarships and grants. Apply. Keep applying all the time for those. Apply all the time. Take an hour a day to do that if you need to. Apply for all of them. Don't let them forget your name. Make sure they know your name at the scholarship and grant places. Make sure they know who you are by you sending them love letters all the time in the form of applications. You do that all the time. And work. You work and you cash flow it in addition to the financial aid and scholarships. And hopefully that financial aid does not include loans. I'm guessing not, because he says you're paying the rest without taking out student loans. So yeah, that's how you do that. And yeah, you may not have enough to start this fall even. In that case, you would have to take a semester off and work, and then you can start the next semester. A lot of people don't want to do that because, oh, I'll be behind. Well, you'll be behind more if you take out student loans. Why are there people on Dave's forum recommending to leverages real estate? All right. No S needs to be on there. This is not Dave's forum. Reddit. This is not run by Ramsey Solutions. This subreddit is run by fans, and in general, people on Reddit can say whatever they want to. They can give whatever opinion they would like to do. And because of Dave Ramsey's popularity, you're going to get a bunch of people on here. There's other ones like r/financial, which I'm going to go on one day and answer questions in the Ramsey way from there, and we'll see how different of an experience that is. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow on tomorrow's Answering Your Financial Questions with Coach Steve Money. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow, yeah. But yeah, you're gonna have people do that, so you can't just say. I mean, people do that. People go into the Ramsey Show YouTube chat and tell people to leverage real estate. They do that all the time. And so if they're going to do that there, where that's his, he owns that channel. I mean, as much as you can, YouTube, is the platform. But other than that, I mean, he owns it, and they come on there and they say to debt leverage. So you shouldn't be surprised in an open forum like Reddit to see that. Land and tiny home. That's a no and no. People love to buy land and then construct, build houses, and of course the house always costs more than the estimate. I have zero debt in my 3-month emergency fund. Excellent. I make $70K and live in a city with a median sale price of $370-ish. Well, I guess you can't do the median sale price, because let's use my pal Sid's formula here, 2.5 times that, and that would be 140 and 35 is 175, my friend. 175, my friend. So you have to get that income up, or you're buying a much, much cheaper house. The alternative is to save for a long time to put a much bigger down payment so that the mortgage on your 370-ish house is only, $175K. So that means you have to save $200,000 for down payment. Or here's another thing, you could move to somewhere where your income would match that cost of living area. So, yep. However, home prices have consistently increased about 10% annually for the last decade. Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to break into the market even with just a 10% down payment, right? No way I can afford a 15-year and 25 either, right? Has anyone here owned a tiny home as their primary residence? I'm really just looking for a place to live. I'd have a lot of money left over to put into savings as retirement. Okay, yeah, Dave is not into the tiny homes because there's not as much a track record as to whether they appreciate. And I believe the early returns were that they depreciate like a car does. And so, a lot of people have the whole idea about, we're going to buy land and I'm going to put my own thing on it. And, that's not for everybody, and not everybody should do that. And there's no problem with renting while you save a much larger down payment. TCP is Sin Akak, okay? How many of you open a 0% interest balance transfer card to pay off your debts? I close my credit cards and move them balance transfer card of 0 for 21 months. And the problem is, if you don't pay, problem is you got a fee to do that. Regardless of whether there's 0 interest rate, you got a fee to do it. So that's adding to your debt immediately. So that part is doing it wrong, definitely. I plan on paying them off all by the 21 months. You could have paid off the credit cards as they were in the 21 months as well. I'll save roughly 3 to 4K in interest. How much did they charge you to transfer that? By doing this is how I understood it, and I'll get it paid off faster. How many have done this? Did it work? I'm guessing it's kinda against Dave rules. Yes, it is. So you're doing it wrong. Abbreviations old, 2960. Oh, the thing I didn't say about that is that, yeah, if you don't pay it off, if something happens and you don't pay it off in 21 months, it'll be like 25% interest. Congratulations. So definitely get that done. Abbreviations old, 2960. How to pay off debt and reach business and home goals. How can I do everything all at the same time? You do not. One step at a time. Except when you're on 4, 5, and 6. That's 3 steps at a time. Hey folks, can y'all help me figure out what order to tackle my dreams? Baby steps order is what I would think off the top of my head. I very much am committed to the plan and would like Ramsey advice, not Dave-ish or other advice. Well, you're asking on the wrong place, my friend, but I'll give you the Dave Ramsey advice. Let's see, I have roughly 14K left on a car loan and 2 student loans totaling 37K. Over my car paid off by this August. I then plan on tackling my student loans. 14K, let's do the math here. That is, what is it? It is at most of March left. So we'll consider March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 6 months to pay off 14K. That's 2,000. Oh, between 2,000 and 3,000 a month on debt. So I won't. Don't know how much he makes though. So don't know if that's a lot or, revisit the budget, see what you can cut out, regardless of what you make. Always revisit budget. Then I plan tackling my student loans. I'm working the plan, living as frugally as I can. All right, we'll take your word for it. Literally living on beans and rice, plant-based, $15 Mint Mobile, etc. Excellent. My dreams and goals are to be debt-free, buy a piece of land. Everybody wants to buy a piece of land and build out a small homestead and do a business as well. Let's see what the rest of this is. War and peace here. Goodness gracious me. So much story that doesn't matter. Let's see. Build out a small homestead. Build a business in which I will offer trauma recovery coaching using somatic work. Okay, so you build businesses at the speed of cash, and you have no cash to put to that right now. So again, one thing at a time. And then at that point, so you go do the baby steps. You pay off that car, and then the rest of your debt, and then you do the full emergency fund, and then at that point you choose one. You would be investing 15%, and then you choose whether you want to buy a house or you want to build a business, because cash is not unlimited here. So, and by trying to do everything at once, again, you're going to make everything take longer. So dream to be financially independent. So you have to put your dreams on the back burner sometimes and pay off debt and do the baby steps. Baby steps in order, always, even if you have home and business dreams. Right now, I'm so blessed to have rent of $580 for a 1-bedroom apartment. Well, that's awesome. Great. Check that. You should have more money to put on debt then. So revisit that budget and make sure you are, in fact, living as frugally as you can, and Go back and listen to the other answer about wants and needs. And so do that. Let's see. The idea of paying higher rent. I'm set up well. I need to be comfortable right now. I wouldn't want to move unless it was to land I own. Again, that's you know, I mean, I get why people want to do that, but that is not important to me, to own the land and then build something on it. The idea of paying higher rent makes me want to cry. Yeah, well, don't do it then. Stay where you are as long as you can while you're saving up to make the move. I hate my job and long to start this business. You can't do that. You can't do that right now. You don't have the cash to do that. Businesses have to be started and built up at the speed of cash. And you don't have any because yours is all going to debt right now. Your cash is busy. Sorry. But I also long to have my own home. Everything. See, you want everything all at once. And that is how people get into trouble with debt, by taking out loans for it all. What would you guys suggest I prioritize? Oh, I don't know. Maybe you go over to the baby steps list and you follow that instead of anything else that's in your head. Baby steps first. And then when you're doing 4, 5, and 6, well, you wouldn't be doing 6 because you don't have a house yet. And if you are young and you don't have children yet either, then you would just be investing, and then you could start saving for your choice, not both, the land and house and then the business. It's up to you. But you can, with limited funds, you don't get to have all of this stuff all at once. Sorry. And a lot of the kids out there, and adults as well. So it's not, again, not a generational thing, but a lot of people don't like to be told no. And so that's fine. They can do whatever they want to with their money, but what Dave suggests is the best way to put you in the best position. Because guess what? Sometimes people take out student loans and they don't graduate. Sometimes people take out home loans, land and home loans. And guess what? Home never gets built. Or home does get built and they're house poor. Sometimes people take out loans to start up businesses. And guess what? Business doesn't work. They have to close the business and they still own all that money. Savings and Investment UK. In the bloody UK. This is from Percentage Odd. Is anyone doing the baby steps in the UK? I like the show and agree with most of the steps, but the advice when it comes to savings, investment, and pensions is obviously for our neighbors in the USA. Greetings from the colonies. And I'm wondering what some of the equivalents would be in the UK, for example, a Roth IRA, 401k, etc. I'm not very good with savings, etc. after a lifetime of debt. I have not looked into that. I do not know. I believe the pension would still be involved, but I do believe that it would be whatever tax advantage accounts that the UK offers, if any. And so that's what that would be. The Roth is simply you pay the taxes on the income that you make, and out of that income you would contribute to the Roth IRA. As far as the 401k, the taxes are waived on the contributions, but you have to pay taxes in retirement when you take that money out. And so any tax advantage thing that the UK offers. And I'll try to remember to do more research about that and do a video on the baby steps in the UK. Because that is very interesting about that, about the way that it would differ if it does, but because they may not have any tax advantaged accounts, I do not know. Who's your daddy? All right, it was in Indiana. Hoosiers. 401k and looming retirement. Looming. Looming is not a good way to look at that. I think I would rather enjoy it. Of course, I won't be retired. I guess what I'll still be doing. I'll still be on here, and I will be on YouTube like far after the dementia has set in. I assure you. So look forward to that, kids. Retirement is looking like it's going to happen in the next few years. Okay, and is looking like it's going to happen. You don't get to choose when that happens. And I want to protect my 401k from market nonsense. I've got a friend who has moved his money to one of those places that guarantees a fixed rate of increase, 7 to 8%. I don't know that they can agree to guarantee 7 to 8%. I don't know where that would be. I've not heard of that. And if the market takes a dump, the value of the account is frozen to protect it. Not sure if that's the best option, but definitely can't have another market adjustment come along and wipe out a big chunk this late in the game. Has Dave Ramsey ever weighed in on this? Generally he says there's no need to, if you've been aggressive in your whole, the problem would be if you started saving for retirement late. So you're late to the game. But if you started saving for retirement by 30, then you've had enough time in the market where it should be enough to handle a downturn in the market. It should be enough to do that. Because again, you're not taking everything out. Even if the market would be down, you're only taking enough out per year to live on. Everything else stays in there. And so you haven't lost any money until you take that portion out. And so, but what that like switches to like target date things that put a lot of weight on bonds and put most of the investment into bonds and so forth. That is safer because it is a guaranteed amount. 78% is high, though. I think it's going to be more like just your, maybe 5 to 7, I would say at most. But I mean, you can look into it certainly, and if you're that scared about it, especially if you started investing late, like some of us stupidly did, if you did that, then you could, like I said, move it to one of those places or to like a target date fund to do that. Icy Dark 7657. What up, Matty Bags? What up, Anon? Dementia hasn't set in already? Question mark. All right, thank you, Anon. Not quite. Not quite. Some people think so, but no, I'm doing pretty well so far. Hanging in there. What up, Matty Bag? Hashtag mentioned. He's hashtag mentioned in my song parody of Dua Lipa's Levitating called Baby Steppin'. That's in the music playlist. Go check that out. Shout out to Matty. Hey y'all. I'm a 20-year-old man going to junior college full time right now for my general eds. Okay. I also work full time, making $35K a year. Received close to $500,000 recently due to my father's passing. It was life insurance, not inheritance. I don't come from money, quite the opposite. My mom and I have been living in a tiny apartment for the last 7 years, and we had been wanting to move soon. So my question is, what should I do? I've been starting to work with a financial advisor. Why? Like in talking about investing advisor. If you have debt, you need to do the baby steps. You're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. You may have heard the baby steps. Maybe you do that. And I was going to start putting some money in the market. And okay, so what changes this from the $35K a year, of course, is the $500,000 life insurance. And so if you receive that and your mother's not involved in that, maybe she got a separate thing, I'm not moving you guys to a deluxe apartment in the sky on this. I am doing the baby steps with it first, and then maybe you can move to the, what you would want to do with that money is pay off any debt you have And obviously that can fund your entire college. That doesn't mean that you can't apply for grants and scholarships, although you having 500K in the bank may that would eliminate you from need-based. But like for a while, you should, let's see what the rest of it is here. You could put it in a, like the parts that you don't use and are saving to pay for college, you could put that in a high yield savings account. Let's see, wanting to move soon. So my question is, what should I do? Okay, what you have to consider is your income still. So would you guys have still moved if you didn't get that 500K? And if your mom get any, if money, if she did at all, at this point we don't know. Starting to work with a financial advisor, was going to start putting some money in the market and maxing out retirement funds. My question: no, you would make sure that college is taken care of first before doing that. 20, still a baby, really, even though you say you're a man. 20-year-old, I mean, it's legally an adult, sure, but that's still a baby compared to some of us. And so you still have plenty of time to start investing later after you establish a good foundation for yourself, which is no debt, full emergency fund, and then that's when you start investing. Also, of course, the housing taken care of, but your income should be doing that. And the the life insurance should take care of the college. My question is, do I buy a house in cash for me and my mom for $250K to avoid high interest rates and allow us high interest rates to do what? Oh, so you don't take a mortgage out. I don't know that you buy a house yet. I would chill probably. Stay in that same tiny apartment. Why not? Or move to one that how much, what kind of apartment were you? What move would you make if this 500K did not come in? And so maybe do that move, but not buying a $250,000 house. That's half of it. And allow us both to not have to worry about making ends meet for the first time, while also saving over the next few years. In about 4 to 5 years, I plan to sell the house and hopefully get a rental property and live in one of the units with my significant other. I should be able to save significantly, and so will my mom, hopefully setting us up for the future. The rest of my money will be invested in compounded interest over time. Or do I go the 20% down route? No, you wouldn't. No, if you have $500 cash and you're dead set on buying a house, you would buy a house with that money. I would wait. I would chill and take more time to think about what to do. You lived in the tiny apartment for 7 years. One more will not hurt you. But like I said, if you were planning on moving to a bigger apartment instead of a deluxe apartment in the sky, like on the Jeffersons, you could still do that if you wanted to, but definitely you want to have college all taken care of and go from there. So it doesn't say anything about any other debts, so you would definitely get rid of those. You would have the full emergency fund, and that is closed off from paying for house or paying for anything else, even paying for college. That's not an emergency. College and house, not an emergency. So you would have that full emergency fund, and then you wouldn't do savings except if that were extra. So write down the baby steps. But if you're you insist on buying a house, why $250? Why can't you get one cheaper than that? A lot of people put like that minimum into the internet, and then they don't ever even look at lower ones. A lower one might be better. You never know. So that's what the dealio is. Generally, it's whatever any amount of money, any extra money ever comes in for any reason, you go right down the baby steps. Or right up them, depending on how you look at it. But it's a list that starts with step 1, so it's down. in this situation. New rub 2539, is a 30-year mortgage okay in the UK? Too many bloody UK questions. I'm kidding. In the UK, average house prices are pushing 10x income. Is that true, Aeon? Is that the average? My partner and I earn £55,000 together gross. Partner. I want to get married before we buy a house together or live together. Debt free besides the mortgage. Okay. Oh, you already have a mortgage. Okay. And £1,000 in emergency fund. Okay. 15,000 bloody quid. I'm 31 and we currently have a 5-year fixed mortgage for 195,000 over 3 years, so 55. That's a little bit over the amount of mortgage that you should have at 55K income. And at the 30 years, so that means, yeah, you bought too much house, because if you had done 15 years, which I don't even know if you can do in the UK, I have to research more about that for my UK video. That I will do mostly as an excuse to do the accent, as bad as it is, but stretching out over 30 years to be able to afford the payment, that means you're buying too much house. So let's see, at around 5%. We pay $1,050 a month, and our take home is $3,400 a month, which leaves us with a few hundred after essentials. So you can't make progress with a few hundred a month. You can make just little baby. And that's because you're house poor. House is worth $210, which is a small 2-bed in Cardiff. Retirement, what kind of area is Cardiff? Is it like a middle class area, lower? Upper, I'm assuming not upper. Retirement is ticking over. I don't know. Does that mean anything? Ticking over, and we have around 20K in it. Does that mean they're just putting a little bit into it? I don't know what that means. Are we doing the right things? Are we gonna be fine? Yeah, you bought too much house, and so if you want to make that work, you have to sacrifice in other areas, meaning like you don't get any other wants other than that house you wanted. Let's see what I know. You can do a 15-year mortgage in the UK. They are house poor. Yep. 210 quid in Cardiff is a good area. Okay. Retirement is doing okay. Ticking over. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the UK to American dictionary that Anon is providing. Saltar, 88. Retirement contributions, 35, man, married. The other one actually said man. It's when they say male or female, I usually say man or woman instead. For some reason, I don't know. I don't even know why. But this time he said male, but I changed it to man. Married, baby on the way. Congratulations. My income, $100,000 a year. Wife won't be working when baby arrives. Okay. Maybe you can squeeze through life with $100K on you, with just you working. Then you don't have to pay childcare. And baby steps 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and that, of course, is better than having a baby on step 2. Now, you don't not have a baby on step 2, but the way this worked out, that's better. My daughter used to see drawers that were open, like a little bit, drawers open, like not closed completely all the way. And so, like when she was 5 or so, she would go over to them and push it closed and say, "There, that's better." Only debt is a house balance of $263K with 6.62 interest. 100 and hundreds, 200 and 250. So just a little bit above the balance is anyway. It was too much house to buy when you started. But when you got that mortgage, you probably didn't know wife wouldn't be working. That was probably, way before baby. But so that's where you're at now, though, and so you start by now, and it's not untenable, but you would have to make up, some of that elsewhere by not doing other wants. My base pay is $61K a year gross. The rest is from 4 performance-based quarterly bonuses. Well, you better be performing. Got to be performing if you want to count on that $100K a year, and 1 yearly. I'm paid bi-weekly, gross pay $4,700 a month. Non-bonus months, okay. All of this is probably information that's not needed. 11 to 13K on bonus month. My work's 401K plan offers a 7% match at time of contribution, and once per year we'll recalculate our total annual contributions and match up to 7%, which means I can. It's got the what would Dave do flair on it, but let's open the rest of the question as it extends for a couple more lines. I have run simulations on bi-weekly. It says sorry, I missed some of the stuff. Match up to 7%, which means I can which means contribute only on my bonuses and still get a full 7% per year if I contribute enough. I'm trying to decide which is better for us, either 15% on all pay periods or 50% on my bonus every quarter. 15% on all pay periods. You do want to get less money into the market earlier rather than waiting for a set time for a lot to go in. Because if you wait till 50% of bonus every quarter, you're losing out on all the growth of that quarter for that amount. If you put a little bit in each week or bi-weekly even, that's still going to make you more than once a month, or in this case, once a quarter. So you do not want to do that. Let's see, I've ran simulations on bi-weekly versus quarterly investing on the funds I own in my 401k in the past few years. And returns are close enough. There doesn't seem to be advantage return-wise. Those might not be good funds then. Revisit those. Make sure they're making at least the 10% that the S&P 500 does average annually. It seems better to me to do quarterly because our monthly budget isn't as tight. No, you need it to be tight because you have did a little bit of overbuying of the house. Granted, it may not have been overbuying at that point, but if wife's not going to be working anymore, then you need to have a tight budget. So, and you need to be 35. I mean, it's still a baby compared to some of us, but still need to be addressing that retirement. Seems to me better to me to we have more to pay towards mortgage. Nope. You would do how is it less? It's still only 15% regardless of how you break it up during the pay periods, whether to do 15% on all pay periods or 50% of bonus every quarter. It's still the same 15%. So I don't know what you're talking about as far as you would have more to pay toward mortgage. You would not. And returns are close enough. There doesn't seem to be advantage return wise. Now there would be more money because you're not doing 15% on all pay periods. There would be more money, but the market, like the debt leverage people say, the market makes more than the interest that you're paying on the mortgage. And so that's how they justify the debt leverage. And so in this case, Dave's telling you to do 15%. And so you should do that. So you shouldn't reverse engineer the debt leverage argument to fit what you want to do, which is quarterly, because that just so your budget isn't as tight. You need to have a tight budget. So, and get that total interest down faster. What's the difference of getting that total interest down faster and not having your full 15% growing at all times, such as Mr. Ramsey recommends? Of course, you can do whatever you want to, but that's what Mr. Ramsey would recommend. And more, as soon as you can get money into the market, you get it in the market. You do not save a lump sum. That would be the same thing as, to compare it to the house, that would be the same as saving a bunch of money up and putting a lump sum towards the mortgage. You wouldn't do that either. You would pay off, you would put the money towards it as you have it. UK-isms. All right. Just ticking over. Just never heard of it. It kind of makes sense. Useful _ resource 9047. I need some help justifying buying a new car. Well, here's the only justification for it: if you are a millionaire. Otherwise, you don't buy a new car. It's a used car, and all in cash. Let's see. I really like this BMW 330i. I'm sure it's great. I looked at earlier. It would cost me about $32K to buy it. I know BMWs don't have the best reputation for reliability, but it has 20K miles on it. What year? It doesn't say what year. Excuse me. I make just under 100K per year, 22 years old, no debt, and I'm just over 50K in a high yield savings account, and around 8K spread across investment portfolios currently. I invest about 30% of my income into Roth IRA and 403B. I mean, I guess you could be on step 7 with no debt. And let's see. 50K high yield savings account. That's your emergency fund. That's plenty. That might be too much. It just depends. So I guess, I mean, if you don't have a mortgage, you're on step 7, so you can invest more. So let's see. But the problem with not having expenses and so forth, or a mortgage, is that you start thinking you need BMWs. Let's see. I don't care about cars, so I would never spend $32K to buy a car unless I were a millionaire. Let's see. 30%. Is this a stupid purchase, or should I pull the trigger and have some fun? Thanks. How about a BMW that's half that? A used one. So I don't know. At 32K, that seems low for that. So that might be a used car. And so if it's a used car, let's see. What's the income? Just under 100K. So if you don't have any other cars, that would fit fine in Dave's recommendation for that. As to how many things with wheels and motors you should have. About half of your annual income is what it should be worth. So, I mean, if that's used, 32K seems excessive to me to buy a used car, but where you're at in life, I mean, you could, if you're going to pay cash for it. So, but the problem is that does take your 50K down to 18K. And so 18K may be fine for your emergency fund, unless you have a different emergency fund somewhere else. You would need to definitely make sure you have that covered. And then from there, what you would do then, if you ever decide to buy a house, you would stop investing over the amount, because then you're on 3B, saving the down payment, and you're not on step 7 anymore. But right now, 22-year-old step 7er, congratulations. Congratulations on the good income. Insight Discern has done quite a few posts on this subreddit. Analyzed expenses in my budget app to figure out what has to be cut. Amazon Prime and DoorDash. I could have told you that. You wouldn't have to analyze it in anything. You would just sort of ask me, should I cut it Amazon Prime and DoorDash? Yes. Tell you what, if you want to get fast food and you're not in baby step 2, how about you go get it? You be the delivery person. And your tip can be not having to pay a tip. I started using Monarch after Mint announced it is closing. It's no apostrophe there, and love it. Okay. They have this cash flow widget which shows monthly, quarterly, and annually expenses per budget category and even per merchant. In 2023, I found out we spent $8,500 on Amazon purchases and $2,500 on DoorDash. Very surprising that it was that high. Well, the problem is it's just a little bit here and a little bit there, but it does add up over the year. My wife and I are cutting spending. Excellent. So we canceled Amazon Prime and the DoorDash Pass subscriptions. We also deleted those apps on our phones. Excellent. Removed the favorites on the computer and removed our payment method from it. Excellent. Excellent. Yep. I could have told you that. A lot of times Amazon Prime does cause more shopping because you think, well, it's free shipping. So we'll just get that, and as long as we're getting that and it's free shipping, why don't we just add this on it? And a lot of those aren't needs. So that's how that happens. B34R man paid off, that's part of the username, just paid off my mortgage today. Excellent. Sharing here because I had nobody else to tell. Well, we'll be glad to hear about it. Started listening to Dave a little over a year ago. My wife, 45 female, and I, 45 man, were already pretty much debt-free. Pretty much. But we still had a mortgage, okay? That counts as pretty much debt-free. We focused on that last debt, and today we paid off our mortgage. We are 100% debt-free. Thank you, Dave. Dave just had the advice. You're the ones that made it happen. Congratulations. Another good one, I think. Mama G. We are debt-free sharing because I love when other people do this. My husband, 30 male, and I, 25 female, just paid off the last of my student loans today. Feels like turning a new leaf in our marriage, no longer owing anyone money. Excellent. Even fault for those of you who paid your mortgage off early. When did you actually do it? I'm in the camp that I'd love to pay off my mortgage early. I understand the whole interest rate arbitrage and still think I want to pursue early payoff. I think he's talking about meaning why not invest that money because the investing makes more than the percentage of interest on the mortgage a year, and think you want to pay early payoff. And that's because when you do that math, there's no risk button in there to factor that in. I'm roughly 5 years into a 15-year mortgage. I should reach a point later this year where if I liquidated everything, would be able to stroke the check. All right, a little more information than we needed. However, that would leave no additional cash reserve. Well, you have to have your full emergency fund. I've heard from some financial folks that one should perhaps have 3 times the balance before making that final payment. No, I'd definitely not go to 0 cash reserve situation, but think 3x. Yeah, 3x is too much. You should still have your 6-month emergency fund. And so that's all you need. You don't need an additional cash reserve on the extra outside of sinking funds for known coming expenses. But other than that, you would just need the 6-month emergency fund. A UK version of Every Dollar app. I tried to download, but it's US only. Is the UK one. Thanks. No, I know there's YNAB. You need a budget, and what did the other person say? I can't remember what the other person said that his budget thing was that analyzed and told him, shocker, that Amazon Prime and DoorDash were the problem. Actually, as always, the problem was in the mirror for that person. Ready_wealth. Opinion on renting versus owning when going through the steps. My husband, 32 man, and I, 31F, currently run our house. It's a great size, super affordable. We pay $1,200 a month for a 1,300 square foot, house. Landlord is a gem, all right, and we really like him. In the 6 years we lived here, he hasn't raised our rent at all and fixes anything we need. That's great. We're working through step 2. We paid off nearly $25K of our $100K debt, and we started all this 3 months ago. We're on a good trajectory to have it all paid off in a year or so, barring anything huge in our lives. We own both our cars and they are paid off. Great. Let's see. My car will need something. Let's open the rest of it. My car will need replacing this year sometime. But my dad is a mechanic and it's fine for now. What's going to make that be? I mean, you know, sometimes people just say, oh, that needs to be replaced next year. But, you know, they can just say that that's when it needs to be and it doesn't necessarily need to be. They just want to do it. Let's see. Don't have kids. Don't plan on having them in the next 2 years. Well, you know what? What is that? Plans made between mice and men or something like that. There's some kind of saying about that. I have $68,000 in a 401k since we both work 1099, both are alive. He still does too, so I didn't start that until I started my first salary job in 2018. We have another $25K in savings. My husband wants to wait until we are fully debt-free to buy a house, and that's how you should do that. Yes. That's how the baby steps work. I'm yearning for our own home, but also understand where he is coming from. He's coming from the proven method, millions of documented success stories from Mr. Ramsey's advice. And if you start the baby steps and you have a house already, you don't always have to sell it. That can be manageable, and in some cases the mortgage payment is even cheaper than rent would be somewhere else. So you don't always have to sell it. But if you do not have a house, you are doing baby steps 1, 2, 3, and before you would start saving for the down payment for the house. So you do have to have all debt paid off, and you do have to have your full emergency fund. So that means waiting. And people generally do not like to wait for things that they want. I also understand where he is coming from. I guess I would like to know what people's thoughts are. Are we putting it off too long? Are you going to agree with me instead of him? Is it dumb to rush? Yes, it is. At the end of the day, whatever we choose won't be the end of the world. So just wanted to hear other people's thoughts. Edit, thanks for the kind responses. I agree with you all and appreciate the wisdom. We are definitely waiting, and my husband really enjoyed me telling him that he's definitely right. LO. XD. Well, you know, sometimes the men's can be right. It happens every once in a while. And it's just like for me, it's not difficult to be right when you're just following Dave's proven advice. Southern Fold 1870. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to start doing a mid-roll thing here where I'm going to get right into the questions when I start. And do a mid-roll thing where I do my plugs. If you don't know me, I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me if you got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track. You can do that at calendly.com / Coach Steve Money. These links are in the description. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations, you can go to paypal.me / Coach Steve Money. Alternatively, Cash App to $ Coach Steve Money. Or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money, of course. The YouTube channel is youtube.com / Coach Steve Money. Upcoming streams. This show is answering your financial questions, and this is Saturdays and Sundays at Ramsey time, 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is when the Ramsey show comes on during the week. And so I give them the weekends off, and I take over, and they handle it during the week, as they expertly do. The Ramsey Show After Show. There will be one this month, and that will be on March 20th. That is a Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, and I'm still playing. I'm still finishing Tomb Raider Anniversary as well. So live streams at random times on that. All right, back to the questions, and we're back. Shout out to Rick Glassman there. Southern_fold 817 refinance investment property or not. Let's say Anon says if it got 20k miles on it, it's definitely a used car. Yeah, good point. 20,000 miles on it. Yeah, you're right, Anon. Okay. So I guess that's 1 point to you for dementia for me, I guess, because yeah, having the miles on it went completely over my head there. Missed it. All right, that happens. Nobody's perfect. Refinance investment property or not. Shouldn't have a loan on investment property at all. So let's see why they want to do that. Looking for some insight. Is it a good idea to refinance my duplex investment lot living there? You're doing it wrong. To buy a primary residence. No, what you can do is sell that investment property and buy your primary residence. Wife and I currently renting. 1 year left in the lease. Oh, okay. So you got a year. Paying $2,400 a month. Not sure how to go about buying our primary residence. How you would do that is sell that investment property and pay cash for it. Duplex numbers, PITI, which also could be pain in the intestines. 2050 total gross rent. What is the? Give me the. Profit average after expenses, 300 to 500. All right. And if something big in it breaks, then you're down to 0 for that particular month. So it's not worth it. Not worth it to be in debt that much to make $300 a month off of it. FHA, 30-year fixed interest. Balance out 196k. Yeah, you sell that, and then you pay cash for the house, or at least you put the big down payment on your new house. Properties in our area are 350 to 400k. Doesn't say his income. So yeah, not refinance, sell. You're doing it wrong. You buy investment property for all cash, or you don't buy it at all, is Mr. Ramsey's advice. LBH09, 401k, target date to personally invest. Currently investing in traditional 401k and Roth and want to get out of my target fund. Yep, you can do that, and they should offer other things other than target date, but if they don't, that's when you would prioritize the Roth IRA. Give me some ideas and percentages. Where to personally invest my money for the next 30 years for continued growth. The target date they may have just pushed you into, but they could have other opportunities in the 401k. And so if you're not getting a match, you do that match in that 401k first. If you're not doing a match, then you would prioritize the Roth first, max that out, and then you would go to the traditional 401k. You can also check to see if they have a Roth 401k, because you could switch to that. But yeah, getting out of the target date fund, that's probably a good idea. because you want to be able to at least be making what the S&P 500 is making every year. Lady on the move, borrow to build ADU apartment and home. Here's the situation. Baby step 2, we got the following. $3,400 a month mortgage payment, $43K family loan from in-laws for home purchase. We're paying off. I just paid off $30K student loan. That part is excellent. No other debt. That part is excellent. Public school jobs with combined income of $200K. For anyone who says this is very high, I've lived in 5 states, including California and the Midwest, where I made $39K. So I know both low cost of living and high cost of living worlds. Yeah. So in the Midwest, in California, $200K is about the same as $39K. That's probably an exaggeration, but and in the Midwest, $39K is might get you just about where $200K in California would get you. So, you know, that is the case sometimes where you live does give you more money, but you have to weigh that against the cost of living in that area. Anyone who lives in severe high cost of living states understands why $200K is middle income for a family with kids. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you would get out of there and you would go somewhere where you could get near that income and have much, much lower cost of living would be the plan. Anyway, how's this giant family home? With a huge finished basement. Town just made accessory dwelling units legal to rent in single family neighborhoods like ours. I want to pay off family debt first and save up to cash flow building an ADU in 1 to 2 years to rent. No, you would be paying off that mortgage first. You're doing it wrong. My husband and in-laws want us to take more personal loans from them to build. Nope. Baby step 0, you decide you're not doing loans for anything except a residence for yourself. You're not doing loans for anything else other than that. That's baby step 0. Rent and tax savings would yield $15K per year. It doesn't matter. Remodel job would cost roughly $30 to $50K. Of course, there's always something. But then we'd be in the hole to in-laws $70, $90K. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah. You especially don't want to. I mean, that's even worse than regular loans is loans to family. It would take many more years to pay off. Yep, sorry, you did it wrong. Now you got to pay the piper. 6 years. You're the one that said baby step 2. If you're putting yourself in baby step 2, then you're applying yourself to the Ramsey method, and everything you're doing here is wrong. So let me see if I can make this work here. Oh, let's see where I had this. Let's see if this will work. Yeah. Everything you're doing here is wrong. I want to tell you this. Oh, I want you to know this. Yeah. That's from Ghostbusters 2. That's what that's from. And unfortunately, that GIF did not include the sound. Otherwise, I would have just let I forget the character's name. Let him say it. My husband. Oh, more loans and rent. ASP. Where was I? It would take many more years to pay off 6 years of rental income alone just to be debt free. Yeah, that's why you don't do it that way. You're doing it wrong. Worth it to rush? Nope. Or wait a few years to pay off $43K family loan and save cash again to cash flow? Yes. And you forgot about the full emergency fund in there unless you were also doing it wrong by having the full emergency fund while you have other debt. Kids going to college in 10 years, concerned about the cost. Yeah, you cannot do everything all at once. Sometimes you can't do everything in a lifetime. You have to pick and choose on there. And I would think that them going to college is more important than you building an ADU apartment and doing the remodeling and borrowing money and all that. Them going to college without taking student loans is much more important than any of the other stuff that you want to do. So you're doing it wrong. Do it right. Do it how Dave recommends. I assume you're familiar with the baby steps, since you referenced baby steps 2. Maybe take a look at them again and do that instead of everything that you want to do. Minimum monthly payments to keep policy in force. My allowable maximum IRS 7702 premiums were paid up in 2017. Sign an acknowledgement when reducing face to 100K that said if cash value drops below level sufficient to pay insurance costs, the law allows you to only pay a minimum amount necessary to keep the policy in force. What is this law? What is this minimum monthly amount? I don't know. First I'm hearing of that, so don't know what that is all about. That would be more for a, let's see, I don't know. Or for a lawyer, I guess, or at least maybe a insurance professional to explain that to you if you can't figure it out from the Google. Snoo Hedgehogs 8338. Food budgeting advise. It's advice. Needing advise is the noun. Or advise is the verb, rather. And so you want the noun for food budgeting advice with the C. Hello everyone, I've just started budgeting $1 and I want to decrease our monthly spending. At the grocery store right now, our family of 2 spends $1,000 to $1,200 monthly. That's too much. That's way too much. All right, here we go. Justification station here. I have a dietary restrictions, wheat and gluten free. That increases the cost of some of our staples. Yeah, that's not making it go up to $1,000, babe. Like frozen pizzas, our $13.99 affordable alternative to ordering food. No, that's too much. Sorry, that's too much for one meal. $13.99 too much. It's not Christmas Day. Christmas Day, you can spend $13.99 on a meal, but not every day. And $5.49 flax milk. My question is, should I explore one of these bulk buy stores if it's just the two? You can, but a lot of times it doesn't make sense for that because you buy a whole bunch of something and then it sometimes ends up expiring before you use it. Now, if you buy the stuff and it's a good buy, a good like cost per ounce or whatever. If it's a savings on the cost per ounce and you use it all by the expiration date, then that's a different thing. But you can also go crazy in those bulk buy stores as well, like the Costco and so much. But yeah, I understand dietary restrictions, but that can't be an excuse to go crazy and do $1,000 a month. So that's $500 a month on one person. So no, I don't think you need to do that, my friend. Using dietary restrictions to justify that. And that is, of course, my opinion. Effective wall 99. Better to store high yield savings account in a separate bank than checking account, or does it not matter? Well, first of all, your bank that your checking account is in may not have that good of a high yield savings account. So you want to make sure you get a good rate. But if it's an emergency fund in the high yield savings account, you still have to have a debit card or check writing access to it. And so read the fine print when you're checking those out. You can go to bankrate.com. and check for the I ones. Again, read all the fine print, and you do have to have immediate access to it because emergencies will not wait 1 to 3 days while you do that transfer. Wells Fargo, I know. I don't know. What's the problem with Wells Fargo? Their loan division? Maybe. My goal is to purchase a condo in the next few years and just learn about high yield savings accounts. Currently banking with Wells Fargo. No. Considering switching both my checking and making a high yield savings account with Capital One. Annual percentage rate is 4.35. You might be able to do a little bit better than that, but maybe not. So if the rate's fine, I don't see any problem with having them in the same financial institution. Only question I have is it a bad idea to store my checking and high yield savings account with one institution? No, it's fine. My concern is if I ever get locked out of Capital One for some reason. Not sure when this could happen, but I always think in terms of worst case scenarios. Haha, I wouldn't have access to any money. There's still 2 accounts. So like if you had a debit card for each one, both of them would have to get locked out. And so if you want to have a doomsday scenario mind like that and put them in different places, that's absolutely fine. But other than the doomsday scenario you're just describing, there's no reason that you need to do that. As long as you're getting a good rate on a high yield savings account, and of course, if that's your emergency fund, having immediate access to it. Do it! Ace Bay, B-A-I, 54, is aggressively paying off car loans and unnecessary risk. What? My wife and I are just getting started with budgeting, and our only debts besides the mortgage are our cars. My car owes $11,120. No, the car doesn't owe anything. It's you guys that owe the money. Minimum payment, 37 months remaining. 21,000. My car owes. Nope. You owe it. 21,350. 390 with 66 months remaining. We have 1,750 a month to save at the end of each month. What does that mean? After my 550 Roth IRA investment. You're doing it wrong. You're investing before paying off debt. That's wrong. In reading the baby steps, yeah, I see that step 2 that Ramsey suggests, throwing all your savings at your debts. Yeah, except $1,000 emergency fund, dog. He even suggests pausing investments. He absolutely. Am I wrong for feeling? Wrong feeling like that's unnecessarily risky. Well, if you really felt like something was unnecessarily risky, that would be buying cars with loans. That is more risky. Should I diversify by continuing the Roth IRA? No, you should diversify by getting rid of your debt, which puts you in a better situation. Paying $500 extra on the cars. No, you would put it all extra on the cars and get out of debt. And then the faster you're out of debt and have your full emergency fund, then you can get back into investing. Or should I bite the bullet, focus solely on paying off the loans like Dave suggests? Yeah, well, his plan has worked millions of documented times. I don't know how often investing instead of doing that has. And when you try to skip ahead in the baby steps, you're making both things take longer. What is your debt? How much do you make? And how much is your mortgage? None. None. And I'm renting at the moment. Baby step 2. 269 people commented. Don't know if they actually said their stuff or was a smart A like I was. Let's see. Off the deep end, 99. Started looking at homes. There's one. Started looking at homes. A group in apartments, and to be able to have the ability to look at homes and begin saving to take a mortgage out on one is wonderful and scary. Absolutely. The fact it would be cheaper than my current rent, excuse me, blows my mind. It does happen. You know why? Because renters are paying the mortgage for the person that took out all the debt to buy the mortgage. And, of course, the ones that have a mortgage still charging more, that raises up the average rent in the area for everyone, including the people that did it right and bought in cash. And so the rent can be more than a mortgage. Absolutely. I don't think I'm ready, but the fact that it's a valid option for now makes me so happy. Baby step 4. Yeah. I mean, don't do it until you're ready, obviously. I mean, you can go ahead and save up for the down payment knowing you're going to do it one day. You could do that. Absolutely. NC Yankee 1981. What's with unmarried couples acting like they are married? Well, they think that, that nothing bad's gonna happen. They're not gonna break up. Just the same way when you sign for student loans, you think that, oh, I'll definitely graduate. And you'll be like, oh, we're never splitting up, so let's go ahead and buy a house together, make other major financial decisions together. Why would someone do that? Dumb. It's a dumb thing, dumb decision. Love makes you do crazy stuff, though. Trust me. Round recognition 248. Pursuing a new career in baby step 2. All right. Now you can do that. The problem would be if it's making less money while you build that new career up, build your experience up. That would be the problem. Hi, this is a long post. I'm just reading the first part of it then, but I need some advice. I'm in baby step 2, paying off debt. I'll have my credit cards paid off by the end of April, and we'll have my mortgage and student loans, $30,000 left to pay down. I've been at the same job working in insurance underwriting for 7 years and make around $21 an hour. And I'm beginning to experience burnout. I'm being passed over for promotions, and I'm pretty much ready to move on. I'm considering nursing as a career change, but I do not want to take on more student loans to get a degree. So, I mean, you can do that little by little, but it's not going to be as fast as you want it to be. Obviously, you would have to, yeah, you can't do that. You have mortgage and student loans to do, baby step 2. So yeah, you can't do any of that. Sorry, can't do that. You don't start doing new schooling when you haven't even paid off the $30,000. So yeah, you gotta keep making the money. Sorry. And then when you get the student loans paid off, not the mortgage, but the student loans need to be paid off and full emergency fund, then that's when you begin cash flowing and nursing school at that point. Take Tradius. Confused. No more than 25% of your take-home pay on a 15-year fix. For me, that would be a home valued at $110K. Make more money or move. Looking at Zillow, that puts my family and I in a dilapidated shack, falling apart, and or in the ghetto. This one's going to be difficult to follow. Well, you don't have to. The beauty of life is that you don't have to follow good financial advice. You can do what most people do and what you want to do. You can do that, absolutely. Dave just gives these recommendations because that would put you in a better place financially. So you can certainly do more if you want, but you telling me that just that because a $110,000 house is not decent in your area or in a decent neighborhood or anything like that, that's tough. Make more money or move or deal with it. Your choice. Which, of course, your choice. The other option for you is to not follow Dave's advice, and you can certainly do that. Many people do that. Southern Scene 4495. It's I think a frequent poster here. Baby steps 4 through 6 flare. It's amazing what you can do with no consumer debt. Indeed. I got off to a really late start. I mean, really late, as in I didn't get serious about debt until I was 58. Okay, well, that beats my story. That was 4 years ago, and at that time I had a net worth of $110,000 with $250,000 of debt, including the mortgage. In about 2 years, I paid off all the consumer debt, leaving me with just a 15-year mortgage at 3.4%. That amounted to roughly $100,000 at the time. As of now, our net worth is $570,000. As opposed to last year, I did deviate from the Dave Ramsey plan after the debt was paid by buying a duplex for cash. You're doing it wrong. But as far as you saying you can do amazing things with no consumer debt, yes. But guess what? Buying a duplex to rent out is the same as consumer debt to Mr. Ramsey. So that's why you would have bought that with cash. And you did buy it for cash, but you would have paid off your house first. You would have paid off house before doing that. So you're doing it wrong. putting yourself in baby steps 4 through 6, but not really. Ramsey Show. I'm not saying that. Let's see. I had a 10-hour drive today and listened to the Ramsey Show the whole time. Unfortunately, I only heard Dave on the ads. I like the other hosts a lot, but does Dave ever actually host the show? Yes. Either way, I can't get enough, and I've been hooked for the last couple of weeks. Currently working on Baby Step 3, and I'm super excited. Yes, he does. He's just been on Dave-cation. That does happen. And people supposedly that watch the show a lot and come into the chat a lot, and they come in on Fridays, and they say, where's Dave? Like he's going to be there. He is off every Friday. The exceptions to that, so not every, but almost every, you shouldn't be surprised if he's not there on Fridays. He worked the week after his 2 books ago came out, the Baby Steps Millionaires book. When that came out, he worked the Friday before that came out and the Friday after that came out. And also, he worked on the Friday. They did a live show from the event center that they just opened up. And he worked that day. But other than that, off every Friday. And of course, he was off probably most of the past month. And you can do that when you're the owner of a successful company. Car loan or credit card. I owe $6,950 on my car payment and $7,150 on credit card debt. I have $3,750 in savings. You're doing it wrong. Going to use $2,750 towards whichever debt. That's doing it right. That would be the $6,950. Well, if it's if it's different credit cards, you would pay the lowest credit card first. And I have about $3,700 coming from owed education benefits. Okay, car note is $206, and minimum. Oh, car loan or credit card. If it's just one credit card, you pay the car off first. If it's multiple credit cards, you would pay the lowest and smallest to largest is how that works. Got 13 comments. Too much heat. Deleted the user account. Almost done. Thanks, Dave and team. 18K in 6 months. Excellent. That would be $3K a month. Put towards debt or paying the house off, whatever they did. Perspective/advice. Okay. I can provide both. Hi everyone, as background, I, 31 man, am relatively new to Dave Ramsey, but I've been consuming as much of his content as possible. Excellent. It seems to closely align with how I feel about money and how I want to live life with my wife, 32 female. I wanted to gain some perspective on our current situation, advice on a couple of things from people who have been working these steps. Current situation, combined household income, $145K, mortgage, $246K owed, $150K equity, 30-year fixed. All right, well, that part doesn't align. Consumer debt, 0, recently paid off the second of 2. Okay, so that didn't previously align until you decided to pay off the debt. Oh my goodness, 4 questions, numbered too. Let's see, getting ahead of myself here. Where were we? Consumer debt, recently paid off the second of 2 cars. Excellent. 401k, 31k, which you would also not be contributing to investing while you're paying off non-mortgage debt. So they don't, looks like they don't have any anymore, so that's fine. And then emergency fund and high yield savings account, 16K. Again, make sure you have immediate access to that emergency fund, no matter where it is. It's fine to be in a high yield savings account, but you got to have immediate access to it. Questions? Well, I think we're right between baby step 3 and 4. Is it personal preference on whether you want a 3, 4, 5, 6 month emergency fund? Yes, but if you have a mortgage, so that's more things that you might have to fix instead of your landlord. So I always recommend a 6 month on that, just because you have a house and things in houses break. And sometimes it's the roof. For baby step 4, I currently contribute 6% to my 401k. You're doing it wrong previously, but I mean, if you can have that emergency fund done in a month or two, there's probably no need to stop it and then restart it. But if it's going to take you much longer than that, you might want to consider stopping it for, 4 or 5 months or so, however long it takes you to get that 6-month emergency fund. No, the company. I'm sorry, I didn't read it. For baby step 4, I currently contribute 6% to my 401k with 6% company match, as well as 3% to a Roth IRA. Does this qualify as 15%? No. Dave wants you to have 15% of your skin in the game. Match is gravy on the biscuit. So yeah, you do not include the company match. And you do up your contributions after. Do not change them, though, until you get the full emergency fund. Actually, I mean, even depending on how long it'll take you to get the emergency fund, if it's a month or two, fine, keep going. But I wouldn't raise that to 15% yet. I would do the emergency fund first. Are we behind? I sometimes feel you're way behind. You're behind people that have consumer debt. I mean, you're in front of people that have consumer debt. You're in front of people that don't have 150K equity. You're in front of people that don't have an emergency fund. Because you already have it, but you may need to grow it a little bit more. You're in front of even the people that don't have 31K in retirement. Even though that shouldn't have been done. Let's see. I sometimes feel like we're way behind in our finances. You're ahead of a lot of people. But would love to gain perspective from others following Dave's advice. No, I mean, you did some of it out of order, and that made it take longer because you were paying off debt and investing at the same time. Eventually, that may have an effect where what do you have in there now? 31K already. That the gains on that 31K, on just that 31K, eventually over time will probably eclipse the loss that you did by paying the debt on the cars for as long as you did. And so eventually that should even out, if not even go better by investing over time. So I think you're all right. We've always been pretty debt averse, so haven't had that moment that others, well, except for the cars, that others seem to have had that really kicks them into gear. Has anyone else successfully built wealth without having that moment that caused the gazelle intensity? Having that, I mean, just realizing that that's the best thing for you to do is sometimes enough, where you don't need to have that moment. Although maybe if you had that moment, maybe you would have stopped retirement investing while you paid off the debt and gotten the full emergency fund faster. And I don't know, let's see, it doesn't say. Oh, income is 145K. The mortgage is 246, so that'll be 145. That'll be 290. Might have been too much house at the beginning for your income. Might have been too much house, but on the mortgage that's left, it's fine. So yeah, I think you're all right. Just keep doing the plan now, and don't do non-Dave stuff like you did on baby step 2 by still investing into retirement. I think you'll be all right. Snoo memes jellies 1616. Applying for another credit card to get interest down on debt. Hello, I have $6,000 in credit card debt that accumulated over a 4-year span. My interest is causing me to have about $150 charged monthly to that card on top of my payments. Yeah, that's the way it happens. It's making my ability to pay it off nearly impossible. My coworker mentioned, #mentioned, that I should switch my balance to another card with 0% interest to help me get my debt paid off faster. However, I genuinely hate owning credit cards and don't really want another one. Don't do it. Just pay it off. If the 150 interest that's being charged monthly is making your ability to pay it off nearly impossible, I mean, is this an exaggeration there? I mean, you know, you're lucky it's only $6,000, but you know, you just work more and you spend less. And some of the stuff, some of the dumb stuff that you bought with that $6,000, you can sell that stuff. So just pay it off. And don't move it, because you also add the debt by a transfer fee. If it's 0%, it is almost always a transfer fee in there, so you're adding to your debt. And that is part of baby step 0, to not add any more to your debt. Critique my budget. Okay, let's go to the full one on that. And we're at 2 hours, so this will be the last one. Critique my budget. I love to do that. Net income from work, $56.80 a month. Okay. Social Security income after Medicare payment, $28.57 a month. All right. Total income, $85.37 a month. I'm old, chronically sick, no family nearby, 67 years old, and no savings of any type. Start saving. Where's the 85.37 going? Most likely will lose my job of 46 years as my job of 46 years was canceled due to the business being sold. I say, yeah, we'll have to live on $28.57 a month. Okay, so we don't pay attention to that net income then. So that's because that's not it. We don't pay for the work income because that's going away. So you got to budget on $28.57. And so the idea would have been, while you had $85.37 coming in, that you save as much of that as possible, at least enough to have an emergency fund, under which I would not be able to pay on my debt. Oh, you still have debt, and thus declare bankruptcy. Well, where'd the money go? $8,500 a month. Where'd the money go once you were getting the Social Security income? Where'd the money go? No credit card debt. What's the debt for? Still use them for my medical payments, food, etc. Use credit cards for that, but pay them off in full every month. What is the debt on? Media subscription, Peacock, $7. You can have one. No, you can have one. Get rid of Shudder, get rid of Prime, get rid of YouTube TV. No, you got to cut it to the bone, dog. Printed media, nope. Read it online, dog. Read the free stuff. Walmart Plus, nope. Television, nope. Nope. So this is like $7 and like $10 charges, but this keeps it all adds up. Auto tag, you do have to have that if you're going to drive. $9 a month for AAA. That would seem to be fine. I don't think mine was quite that high. 9 times 12. Auto insurance. Okay, you gotta have that if you're gonna drive. And gas. Where are you driving for? Let's see, $50 a month. Might be running the road too much, so stop unnecessary trips. Try to combine trips. Phone line, ISP, internet service provider for both of those are 92. AVG, virus protection, VPN. So you don't need that. You don't need that because Windows has built-in virus protection, and there are free other things that you can scan it with. Cell phone, 25. That's not bad. Electricity, 115. That might be a little high. You don't eat out, so $500 a month. That's a little high for one person, especially an old man. I'm assuming man. I think man. That's a little high for one person, dog, and with no eating out. Rent, $1,200. Debt, co-payments, both are $242 a month. So it doesn't sound like it's that much debt. Tax it, lottery. No more lottery. Lottery goes bye-bye. Debt payment, $1,700. Outgo, leftover, send extra payments over 47K debt. Yeah. So this must be the debt minimum payments here, in addition to the copay that he combined for some reason. Let's see, ridiculously slow for Miami. Okay, great. Don't move. Anxiety knowing this can't be counted on. Right. They could raise it, and then you got to move somewhere cheaper. That's just the way it is. 2020 card paid off. Okay, that's where some of the money went. As long as I remain right. As long as I remain employed, I'll be okay. I know the lottery is stupid. Yes, no need to flame me for that. Too late. I already did. It's the average of purchases, small wins. Nope. For 36 years, yes, I've won some good amounts, but not enough to get rich. Nope, still no. The debt payments are for 2 relatively low interest online personal loans that I used to consolidate the debt incurred on 10 credit cards in 2022. Reduced my cash outgo by over $900 a month from almost $75 in total. Debt to currently $47K. When it depends on when they fire you, basically. Because you said the job was canceled due to the business being sold, so you just need to cut the budget to the bone and pay off that debt as soon as you can. Just put everything towards it. Cut out all the stuff I said and even more. Cut out anything that's not necessary, like the lottery. Taxes $300. I don't know what is that. What is that taxes on? Is that what comes out of his paycheck? Because doesn't that say net up there? Yeah, that says net income. So what's that? I don't know what the taxes is for. But yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. You're gonna have to buckle down and, as I say, cut the budget, and just work until they don't let you work anymore, and then you got to get another job elsewhere. Absolutely not gonna be fun at all, but you can make it. You just got to stop doing dumb stuff with money, like that car. Should have got a used beater car instead of a new car just a couple years ago. So, I mean, 8537 should have been fine to do anything. So, get that debt paid off. Alrighty, so I'll be right back here tomorrow doing this same show, answering your financial questions, and I do that at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, same as Ramsey show happens on the weekdays. And I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and if you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can email me about anything, coaching or anything, on my YouTube channel, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Channel donations go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney or Cash App $/coachstevemoney. Or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can add me on the gram at coachstevemoney. And of course, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/coachstevemoney. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you tomorrow.